go ahead and start the recording.
Sounds like a professor talking there.
I've had to do this all school year.
Probably somebody with a doctorate doing this.
Well, this was more fun than putting together my lectures, so this was a nice break. But let me go ahead and get.
Where's Q?
He is probably going to come back in a minute. He was looking outside and the neighbors walked by and scared him. So I had the window open for the first time in a while. Oh, there you are, buddy. Yeah, he heard the treats.
Hi, Q.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
I thought your brother was joining.
No, who, Isaac?
Yeah.
No, he
Yeah.
had something that was planned for today.
Okay.
Well, actually, Dad, if you want to go ahead and send a reminder email blast to everybody that you sent it to, we could do that. If you've got it. But I'll go ahead and do a shared screen and we'll kind of start from there. So all of you know most of this, but for the sake of anybody who is going to join us. Well, so far, so are you seeing my PowerPoint screen?
I can see your PowerPoint. I was wondering if we lost my brother there.
No,
He's still there. He's still there. All right. So here we go. Oh, hang on a second. Hey, Abby, welcome. All right.
Oh, Abby's coming.
No, it's not Abby.
Oh, it's Kyle. Hi,
Hey, Kyle.
It's Nancy.
Okay, well, hey,
Nancy. Hi, Nancy. Long time no see. Can hear her. Oh, look at that handsome family.
Okay, I got it. Can you
Hello.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Did Carrie get on?
Not yet.
Okay, I'm gonna call him.
Okay.
What are you going to call him?
Well, I'm at Abby's and he's at home.
No, I know, but what are you going to call him?
I don't know. What do you want me to call?
Carrie?
Oh, hi, Ken. How do I get everybody on there?
Hold on.
Hey, can you get on? Yeah. Okay, go to your email and open it. Yeah, I am. And Ken and Megan are, and Jerry and Rebecca.
And Marianne.
Marianne.
Oh,
And
there we go.
Susanna. I'm sorry.
And
There we
Susanna.
go. There we go.
Oh, there he is.
Here's who?
Carrie.
He's connecting. This is how my lectures have gone
Oh,
all
he
year.
sees me.
By the time you get
Okay,
up,
goodbye, Carrie.
it's over.
Hey, how do I get everybody else on here?
She's presenting something you can't.
Well, she's not. All I see is Ken and Megan.
Lucky you.
I know, Ken.
Gallery
I
view.
miss seeing you people.
Get gallery view.
I heard you got scheduled for a shot.
I am.
Yeah, we just.
Nice hand there, Kyle.
You guys are. I don't know how to do it. It doesn't show up as gallery view. We don't have that. Oh, there it is.
Oh, okay. Okay. So where's Carrie?
I see him on the bottom, but I don't see a video.
I don't either.
He probably doesn't know it. You got to turn the video on.
Okay, wait, he's calling me. Okay, you got to turn the video on, but don't ask me how to do this. Hold on. Yeah,
It's up here.
he can't hear
Stop
anybody.
video mute. He probably.
Okay, go to the top of the iPad and touch it, and then a little menu should come up.
Probably didn't hit join with internet.
Yeah, he did.
Well, there was two options: join with internet or dial in. He probably hit dial in.
I said, join with idiot, he says.
That's not what I said. Papa, don't listen to them. Tell them to reconnect and say join with iPad audio or something, or internet audio.
And ask you to start your video. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yay!
job.
All
Can't
right,
hear.
goodbye.
Can you
Can you,
hear?
wait,
Can't hear anybody except for you on the phone.
Tell him to reconnect.
We can see him. Does
Why, we can see
we
him and hear
can
him.
see you.
We can hear him, so he better not say anything nasty about us.
well, that
We
was
can
through
hear
the
you. Don't
phone.
say anything nasty.
That was through the phone. I think we heard him.
Well, what the hell?
I can
Be
see him.
nice now.
Whoops, we lost. See, now we lost you because of
What
that,
am I
Carrie.
doing?
If it says low battery, move over to the other end of the couch and plug it in while you're talking.
Hang on, technology is my friend. I love it. Technology makes the world go round. Technology, woo-hoo! Give me a tea, tea.
They're all laughing at you, Carrie.
Yeah, like I can't hear him, so I can't hurt.
Honey, this is your family. Be nice.
All right, it's plugged in.
Okay. Now,
Okay, I see you, and I
We
hear
see-
you because you're on the phone.
Right.
Can you hear me now?
can you hear anybody else?
See.
I can hear you on the phone.
Right, I know that.
Is there a place where it's muted?
Oh, wait. Was that Mary Ann?
Yes.
Hang on, I saw her lips move and I heard something. But I heard it on the phone, so hang on.
Well, we can leave the phone on.
That is a viable option.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear on the phone and see on the iPad.
Well,
That
Turn
works.
the volume up on the iPad.
turn the volume up. Turn the volume up on the iPad.
Because they can
You know
hear him.
those two little buttons that are on the side somewhere? Oh, you got a nice house. Did you turn it up?
I gotta find the buttons first.
Okay, I have to go help.
Thank you.
Well, great, now you're upside down. No, there you go.
Okay, somebody else say something.
Hello,
Can you hear them?
Hi, Carrie.
hello.
Jim, Ken and Megan and Jerry, just go ahead. He can listen on the phone.
All right. So here we go. Let me go ahead and do a share screen. Can you all see my PowerPoint here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. So here we
Oh, wait,
go.
there's a picture there.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, there's a picture.
I remember the day we took that. Remember that day?
Doug took it.
Yes, Doug took it. That's right.
Yeah, it's one of the few I had of everybody.
That'd be a good blackmail
Well, there's
picture.
better ones down at the post office.
So we know actually quite a bit about Grandma's family, which is a story for another day. But what we hadn't known was Grandpa's family story. So the first thing that we definitely know is that George Max Martin Karth and Laura Della Irwin were not the biological parents of George Irwin Karth. This picture is the only one that I have of both of them. And it's the picture that started my curiosity as a kid before I found out Grandpa was adopted, because I remember looking at it over and over and over, trying to figure out who he looked like. And I finally decided he must look like some other relative. Then when I found out he was adopted, I said, that explains it. That's why he didn't look like either of them. So both fascinating characters on their own right, but not biologically related. Plus, once I got started with DNA testing, I actually got messaged by one of Laura's relatives trying to figure out what was wrong with our ancestry results, because we should be showing up as a match and we weren't. So that helped verify for me that we definitely were not related. And
Somebody just hear a doorbell?
Yes.
yes, yeah. So that's when somebody joins, and it looks like Mark is joining us. So, which is awesome. Hi, Mark. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Hey, Mark,
Awesome.
nice to meet you.
Let's see. Let me see if we
Who's
can get you
Mark?
on. So Mark, just a second here. Let's see if I can get him on. Is one of Grandpa's biological relatives, and he has been one of the most helpful people so far. There we go. Now we can
Hey,
see
Mark.
you.
Yeah, I got distracted on some stuff and almost forgot it.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So Mark has been great. I have emailed him and called him over the last couple of years. So I'm the crazy person who reaches out to people on the internet and says, hey, it says we're related here. Can you help me figure out how we're related? So Mark has been super helpful. I have no shame, Uncle Gary. I have no shame.
No, but I love the chutzpah. Very good.
So
Mark, where do you live?
I live in East Tennessee near Gatlinburg.
Okay.
My mother
Is
is
it
from
snowing
Cumberland,
there?
Maryland.
Okay.
Now, how's he related?
So he is related on, and this is where we're going to go into where I had messed up on some of the research. He is related on Grandpa's paternal side, not the maternal. So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But he is a second cousin down through that side. So we'll get into that on the tree in a little bit.
The simplest answer is my maternal grandmother was a Spriggs.
Okay.
So we'll get into that in a minute, but looking at the pictures from the Spriggs side is kind of scary because I look a lot like them, and so does Susanna. There was one picture of a relative in particular. If you merge my face with Susanna's face, you would get that face. So I'll show some of those pictures in a little bit. So let me go back to am I still on the share screen? Yeah. So here's where I've tested so far. So I'm on family tree DNA, ancestry DNA, MyHeritage DNA, 23andMe, and also I've uploaded to GED Match. So I've hit pretty much all of the major pools, which is important because you never know when what somebody's going to test with. So in this case, since I was looking for more than just the ethnicity stuff, I was looking for trying to find biological relatives. Trying to hit everything that I could was fairly important. 23andMe has been good with the health results. And oh, there's Peter. I think, did he just leave us? All right. So they've all been fairly good for different reasons. Family tree DNA has been pretty important for a reason we'll get into in a minute. But I'm on pretty much every major site. So here's where it gets juicy. So this is the birth certificate that is on file with the state of Illinois for Grandpa. Thanks to modern technology, if you are
Look at his birth date.
Yes, it's wrong. That's where it gets started. Now, I've only heard this secondhand from Dad. I wish I'd talked more about it with Grandpa when he was alive. But this is, according to what we know, how he found out he was adopted. So actually, Dad, you want to jump in because I heard all this from you originally.
Go ahead. You're doing a good job.
All right, I won't let you guest lecture. So according to what I've heard, Grandpa tried to get a passport so he could take Grandma overseas to celebrate their anniversary and go check out, I believe, some of the places he was stationed during World War II briefly, only not on the Army ticket. So when he went to apply for his passport, he put down his birthday, which we all know as February 2nd, Groundhog Day. Well, they wouldn't give him a passport because they said that's not your birthday. So that's where he started to question things. And then, so Laura was already deceased and apparently was older than the date that people knew about. I'm seeing some nods from Uncle Ken here. So a little bit of insurance shenanigans there. But George Sr. was still alive and living with the family at the time. And so they finally pressured him into talking about it. And so the story we got passed down. And again, I'm hearing this second, third hand at this point, was that Grandpa was the result of an illegitimate birth and was adopted out to hide that pregnancy. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So our first initial thought was that it was the doctor who signed it off who had gotten the birth mother pregnant. So I did quite a bit of hunting. I actually did find out who the doctor was. And he was, in fact, a young Jewish doctor who was actually important in establishing the disability history movement, including some research related to things that Susanna has, which is why I thought, oh, that seems like a likely candidate. I reached out to some of his legitimate grandchildren and offered to pay for testing, which they were reluctant, but they did finally admit, after talking to some of their older relatives, that he was known for how to put this delicately, spending time with numerous women, not his life. So having an illegitimate pregnancy wasn't out of the question, but I still never got any of them to agree to test.
My guess is he was the fall guy, but we can get into that later.
Right, so that was where it all lined up perfectly. So talking with Mark, when we thought that Klein was the father and that the mom would have been from the other side, we had it split before I got into the Y-DNA. So we thought at first that Clara Rosemarie Spriggs was the mother, based on time, location, and DNA relationship to Mark, with triangulating with different relative points there. But then I paid the extra to have Dad take a Y-DNA test. So Y-DNA tests are important because they only pick up on the paternal line. So anybody who's a match on a Y-DNA test is going to be on the paternal side. So this is where it gets good, but also frustrating.
I lost you.
Can you hear me now?
Hold on.
Okay.
Can you hear now, Carrie?
Yeah, now, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So this is where it gets interesting, but also slightly frustrating. So after we got the Y-DNA results, this is what I'm seeing for Dad. Of course, not all of them have the same last name. Some of them are different variations, but it's definitely from the Spriggs side and not on and so which would mean that the Spriggs relationship was the paternal line and not the maternal line. So having known from all the DNA matching that I did, that it had to be somebody who was related on both the Spriggs and the Dawson line, leading to me to one group of siblings. Instead of it being Marie, she had 3 brothers. Only one of them is a likely candidate at this point. The other 2 were married with young kids. So the most likely one, who was single at the time, plus was available right location, was John Thomas Spriggs, born in 1901. He worked for the fire department at one point in his life, in DC. This right here on the right-hand side is his granddaughter, Sherry, who I've just started talking with, and she's gonna send me any information she can find. So he
Wait a second.
Yeah.
So is John T. Spriggs his father?
That's the most likely candidate at this point.
Rebecca,
Yeah.
Are you gonna show us at some point like the tree of the Spriggs family so they can?
Yeah, I'll show you in a sec. Yeah, I can pull that up. Yeah,
Right.
so but out of all of the Spriggs, he's the most likely candidate, due to time, location, being single, and just general overall availability. But in addition to that, Sherry Drescher, who pops up, is within the right DNA range to be either a second cousin or a half first cousin to Dad. So the DNA is the exact right match for her to be a half first cousin. I feel like that's a lot, so I'll stop there in case anyone has any questions.
Nope.
Nope. Okay, so I can pull up a tree. Hang on a second. So that then kind of knocks backwards though, because then I needed to figure out the mom. Hang on a second here. Let me pull up the research tree.
So to summarize, at first you thought Dr. Klein was the father and Spriggs
Was the mom.
female was the mother, and learned instead that Spriggs was the father. So who was the mother?
Thank you. So, hold on, pulling this up.
And within that time, you had found out that Dad had Jewish heritage, right?
Well, that was one of the first things that we knew from the ethnicity.
Right.
So we always knew that one of the parents, based on the DNA percentage, would have been fully Jewish. So let me pull over the tree here. And we'll do another screen.
I don't think I'm surprised. Are you surprised?
No, well, you always said that he was Jewish, so gold star.
Well, the thing is that Judaism isn't a nationality.
Well, it's both.
Right.
It's both a nationality and a religion. And hang on a second. All right, are you seeing my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So this is my research tree here. So here's John Thomas Spriggs, who is the most likely candidate for father. Down here, so he married in 1930, I believe. No, a little bit after that, but slightly before 1930, he married Anna D. Giacomo, and they had one child, Marianne Catherine Spriggs. She had 2 children, only one of whom is still living, which is Sherry, who I have been talking to. So there's that side. So now talking with Mark. Mark is from the Spriggs side. Let me see if I've got. Here, do you want to jump in with where you fit in, Mark, on the Spriggs side?
Yeah, your John would be my great uncle, my maternal grandmother's brother.
Right, and you're from Leanna Rebecca's side, right?
Yes.
So that's his grandmother?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So we knew the Spriggs side was right. We just had the wrong sibling.
Okay. Let me jump in here. Have you seen run across the reference to a Phil Spriggs?
I don't think so.
Okay. Ann Spriggs, I'll send you this email later. I'm not sure about if they're still living or not. And I need to go in my files and look up something. But I've got a lot of information, including Phil comes from the same line that the name John Thomas runs through.
Okay.
So I'll get all that stuff to you probably tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
So
But John Thomas is Phil and Ann are still living. They may be of help.
okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So on the mom side, once I stopped looking for the dad to be Jewish, it did help a lot. So I reached out to people who were related on that side, which has been actually fairly easy to parse out those matches, because we know from grandma's side that there isn't any Jewish DNA, and only one of the parents hey,
Give me a hug.
was Jewish. Hey.
He's gone.
So the most likely candidate, since we flipped the gender from paternal to maternal, is from the Himmelfarb family. So I'll pull them up on my research tree, with the most likely one being possibly Olivia. Unfortunately, Grandpa was born in 1925, which is halfway between the 1920 and the 1930 censuses. So there's a lot of information that happens in those 10 years. But in 1920, Olivia was working as a cook. So we know she was out working in the world. The fact that John Thomas Spriggs was a firefighter definitely would lead me to believe that there was possibility for a cook and a firefighter to cross paths. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So both of them were from the DC, Maryland, Baltimore area, the DMV. From what I've been able to gather, talking with some of the people on the Jewish side, our most likely guess is that the mother was sent to Chicago to either relatives or friends to have the child, and then went back home to pretend that nothing had happened, which unfortunately was one of the ways that unwed pregnancies were dealt with back in the day, that you would have the kid far away from home so that nobody would be able to find it. Now, this is where it gets interesting. From what I've been able to tell, there were at least 3 active Jewish orphanages in Chicago at that time. How exactly did George and Laura get involved in this whole scenario as opposed to him having been sent to one of those institutions?
Private adoption.
Right. But the bigger question is, how and why did the Karth get involved?
Laura
But
and
wasn't Grandma working for a doctor?
yeah,
That's what we've been speculating is possibly. And so we looked at, there were a few different possible cousins she could have been sent to, and it does look like a few of them were possibly involved in the medical field. So it's possible that Laura was maybe working for one of them and they worked it out. Again, so that would explain how they got connected, but not necessarily why, which I don't know if we'll ever fully get the mechanics of how they work that out.
So you think the mother was a Himmelfarb from like the Maryland area?
Right. So if not a Himmelfarb, she would have definitely been related to them. But from talking to the Jewish relatives, that's the most likely set of people that she would have been from. Here, let me pull up the research.
We had a Himmelfarb that lived in our old neighborhood when we lived in Pilsen. He's a pretty well-known artist.
Interesting.
Yeah. We did not know him. Our friends Patty and Wayne have a beautiful painting by him.
So wait, so this Himmelfarb, this
Right.
woman, do you have any contacts with anybody in her family?
Right. So that's who I've been talking to, is relatives along that line. So let me pull
The tree up.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Hang on a second. Okay. So in talking to some of the relatives, the Himmelfarbs seem our most likely bet. Unfortunately, if the guess is right with age, singleness, so forth, on
I'm gonna stay here for a
it
few
being,
minutes.
oh hey,
Are you supposed to? Can you say hello?
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
I'm Carolyn Adams the fourth. I'm Gigi's grandson, and I'm Mommy and Daddy's son, and I'm Gracie's big brother,
Oh, good.
and Grace is my sister,
Uh-huh.
and Mommy and Daddy are my parents, and Gigi is my grandma, and Papa is my grandpa.
Do you
You're
love
very
them?
shy, aren't you?
Excellent.
Put your foot down.
And Miss Sally is our teacher while school is closed down.
Nice. That was a better introduction than some of my
Mommy,
students
can I
this
make
semester.
it?
Good
Can I make
job.
No, it's time for
Mommy,
night night.
You escaped. Tell Gigi night.
he's staying on.
He could have done the family tree, telling
Yeah.
them. but he
Yeah.
didn't do it.
Say
That
hello.
was
Okay, good
start
night,
right there.
Grace.
Night.
Oh.
They're putting him to bed and he wants to stay and talk.
Well, I don't blame him.
Sorry.
No, that was
fine.
good. So I think, can you see my screen here? So this
Yes.
Yeah.
is our most likely candidate. So again, she was the one who was the cook in 1920. Unfortunately, she never married and had any legitimate kids that anyone knows about. So narrowing down who the mom is going to be, if it is her, is going to be just a matter of enough relatives testing that we can eliminate other members on that line as the mom, if that makes sense.
So she was born in 1903. So she would have been how old when he was born?
22.
Yeah, so fairly young, but still that's within realm of possibility. And we know she was out working at 17. So it's not out of the question that she would have met someone and had a kid. Now just a minute here. So beyond the age and the availability, Olivia also stood out to me because of her nickname. So where are they at? So her family's nickname for her was Pet because she moves slowly, which is kind of mean, but part of why I started looking into this is because we've been trying to find out the family, the link, if there's a link with the Charcot-Marie-Tooth syndrome, which causes people to move more slowly. So again, this is guesswork at this point. We're definitely related to her, even if she's not.
Okay.
But right now, she's my most likely candidate until somebody else pops up.
And her sister Sophia was what, 2 years older than her?
Right. So her sister Sophia was well, younger. So her sister
younger.
Sophia, yeah, but that would still be within the realm of possibility. Sophia though did get married fairly soon, around after the time Grandpa would have been born, which isn't outside the realm of possibility. So it's just a matter of between the two of them being the most likely, would they have had, or would the mom have never gotten married, or would they have wanted to marry her off right away? So I don't know. But again, there's some of the most likely candidates we have based on the DNA matches.
But we also have Olivia and Buck in DC at the same time.
Well, right. So with her being a cook and him being a firefighter, we've been able, they were in the same general area. Which, again, not outside the realm of possibility that they could have potentially met.
So you said you've talked to somebody in that family?
Right. So that's how we, based on the DNA matches, that's where she was telling me that the Himmelfarbs were the most likely, based on her level of connection DNA wise to us, that the Himmelfarbs were the most likely. Now I know Lizzie's not on, but she had wanted to talk about the Greenspoons, and the Greenspoons do actually fall in. So Jill's that I talked to is from the Greenspoon side.
Who's that?
Jill. She's one of the.
Who's the Greensteins?
So they're on the Jewish side. So yeah, here we go. So this is who I was talking to.
So who do they belong to? The Himmelfarbs?
Yeah. So they're a branch off of the Himmelfarbs.
Oh, Green Spoon.
Yes.
Green
Yeah.
Spoon.
So talking with them. So I know Lizzie had some thoughts on the Greenspoons, but I don't think the mom's last name was Greenspoon, based on our level of connection, but the Greenspoons would have been cousins. And so this, looking where it gets interesting, so Paul, who would be Olivia's uncle, he actually, from what I've been able to find out, owned most of the gas stations in Washington, D.C. So the family, and he ended up selling them later on. So the family did have some money. So having the money to send one of the females off to the Chicago area isn't out of the realm of possibility.
Plus that genetic gas station connection.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that, but there you go. Apparently that is part of our family.
Get that petroleum in your system, and you.
As far as we know, though, there's no way to actually, there's nobody really to verify any of this yet, right?
So with the dad side, that's pretty much a lockdown at this point.
It is.
Yeah, so the dad side being the Spriggs, and again with Sherry being the granddaughter of John and showing up to be the right amount of connection to be a half first cousin. So the dad side is locked down. The mom side we know is on this tree. It's just knowing for sure which one.
Does that make sense, Nancy? That
Well,
his,
I don't.
His DNA showed that Sherry would be equivalent of a half cousin. Like, does that make sense?
Okay. Sherry is
Right.
a half cousin to him.
Yeah, to Carrie.
George.
Yeah. No, she would be
Yeah, to Carrie.
yeah, she'd be your generation's half first cousin. She would be a half niece of George.
Like, so if John is
the father.
Yeah, the father, like grandpa, then
his daughter
was Mary Ann.
Mm-hmm. Who would be
and
George's
Sherry was Mary Ann's
daughter.
Okay.
So it would be like George would be Mary Ann's sister. I mean, it's Mary Ann would be George's sister.
Yeah, so his younger half sister by 5 years.
Okay.
So that's pretty much on a lockdown. It's the mom side where we know she's on the tree. She's one of these family members. It's just a matter of narrowing down which one she is. And unfortunately, if my guess on Olivia is correct, that means a whole lot more people will need to test for me to be able to verify that we're not actually descended from one of the other sisters or cousins, if that makes sense.
Because she didn't have any children herself.
Any known children.
Known children, right.
Olivia did.
Right.
So that's what I'll keep my eye out on. So I'm hoping as more people keep testing, they'll be able to narrow it down further. But I mean, that's kind of where we're at with John being the most likely father right there. That makes it easier with him having had a known child. But without a known child for the mom, then you're just working out who's not the mom and who would be an aunt or a cousin, if that makes sense.
Who is it that you and Susanna look like?
Oh, I can pull that up from Mark's side. So I actually look quite a bit like Mark's mom, as well as some of the other ones.
So this is the paternal side.
Yes, that's where actually the blonde hair comes from.
You do realize that your eliminations are predicated on the notion that they correctly know who their birth mother or father is.
Hello,
Yes and
Jamie,
no.
Mandy here.
Yes
Jim
and
James.
no, because we're pulling it off of the DNA.
Well, yeah, but you're presuming that they're correctly knowing which one is their mother or father.
That would be if we were just pulling off of the trait. With Sherry, DNA says she's the equivalent of a half first cousin to dad.
Yeah, but I was talking about the eliminations.
Oh, yeah. So, yes. So that's going off of family tree knowledge. The true elimination is with enough people doing DNA testing. And that's just a matter of time. So let me pull up some pictures for you.
You do realize your mother had blonde hair also.
Yes, but mine is still fairly light even as an adult, whereas hers darkened. So that's what I mean, is that I still well,
That's great.
I have a
You're not
PhD.
wrong.
I have a PhD, so that's what I got. That's your baby. If you want to read the dissertation, that's my baby.
Let me
No comment.
jump in here with a comment that
Yeah.
my wife made. She said that Rebecca, your Rebecca, look, I have a daughter named Rebecca. your Rebecca looks more like my mother when she was young than my two sisters did.
Oh, interesting.
And when I'm talking to Rebecca and looking at her, I have a cousin, Belinda Golden, who was a couple of years younger than me, that unfortunately about 7-8 years ago died of a brain tumor. But when I look at Rebecca, it brings back memories of talking to her and looking at her.
Oh,
Wait, DNA is crazy.
Plus a cousin of mine, first cousin of mine in Maryland, took one look at the picture of your Rebecca and said, she's got to be part of the family.
Wow.
Well, we claimed her first.
Yeah, but Carrie, nobody's
Hi,
claiming
Zach, how are
you.
you?
Hi, Isaac.
Hello.
All right, so here's one picture right here. I don't know if can you all see that?
You could make it
Yes.
a little bit bigger, but yeah.
A little bit bigger.
Resize it for you. I'm just gonna leave it there.
Now, who are these people?
These are sprigs. Mark, do you want to tell who all these are?
Not quite big enough. Let's see if I can get it bigger to tell you. I can't.
I know one of them is your grandmother, and then that's at least one of her sisters there.
The one on the far left, I think, without.
Yellow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're breaking up here. But these are some of the Spriggs relatives here.
Does the zoom button work, Rebecca? Or is that the one
Possibly.
you tried?
That's what I tried.
The one up
hang
there?
on.
Okay.
Yeah, hang on. I can pull up some other ones. Just give me a minute here.
One of my great the one.
Let me go back at these pictures. Just a second here. Because I want to show you the ones that really, let me pull it up. Just a second. I'm going to pull up some pictures to show you what I mean about face merging me and Susanna.
It's eerie.
It's DNA. All right, bear with me. A little bit slow. I had meant to have more of this done, but it was kind of a week here in Texas. So.
Rebecca, I've got the I've got the picture of the Olivia with their reunion thing. If you want me to share that.
Oh yeah, if you want to hold that up.
When after you're done, whatever you're doing.
Oh, you can do that right this second.
Okay. I say, hey, you
I'm
got
looking.
it so I can screen share.
Hang on a second. There you go. Okay, you should be able to screen share.
Hi,
Okay.
Jim.
So this first photo is like a family reunion of the Himmelfarb family.
Okay, you're not sharing.
No, I know,
enough.
but I just, I
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to-
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So this is
Wow.
September 1963, the Himmelfarb Cousins Club. And let's see, where's the, so this, Rebecca, is this Olivia?
Yeah, that's Olivia right there.
That's Olivia. And I've got a picture that shows it closer up. Just a minute here.
To her left is Sophia, who's the younger sister, who's another potential candidate.
Okay, so again, this is, let's see, I can't do this here. So this one, oops, I'm not doing it. This is Olivia. And you said this one here is Sophia?
Yes.
Who's the one on the other side?
This one, that's who I thought at first too.
That,
Yeah, I mean,
I'd
she
have to-
looks more like George.
she does. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
can't
thought so
remember her
too.
name. I think that might be Zion. I can't remember the name offhand. I'd have to look at the list. But yes, that's what I thought too, especially the
Yeah.
hairline.
And the nose.
Yes, exactly. I thought that too. Well, hers too. I mean, yeah, I think they all. If Olivia was turned, maybe you'd see
Yeah,
it similar.
yeah.
Mhm.
But and then I've got the picture of 5-ish. Is it, Rebecca? Is that
So that would be the grandfather. So that would be the grandfather.
5-ish
right
Himmelfarb
there.
from
Mhm.
let's see, just a minute, let me get it. So that would be George's
great
George's,
great grandfather.
okay.
So yeah, I mean you can definitely see.
It's a classic European Russian.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
From the early 1900s.
Yes.
Yes, very, very
I think it's
stereotypical.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I think George would take all this.
I think he would be excited. I mean,
no, I think he'd deny the whole thing.
You really?
Yep.
Why?
Because I remember when they found out and they were going to Italy and we were never allowed to talk about it at all. Anybody.
Well,
There
was that
never
'cause of-
any talk of it within the family or anything.
Was that because of Gladys? Because she still
Why
doesn't want
would-
to.
No, we were not. Ken, Megan, when did we ever discuss him being adopted? Not until well after he passed.
I don't
away.
remember when we found out.
We were, I was out of the house. We were married when
I
this-
know we had just gotten married.
Okay.
Not long after we had gotten married. So it must have been the spring or something. That's when they went to Italy and we stayed at the house, remember?
But I don't
with
know if
Jerry,
we knew then.
with Jerry and Kathy.
We didn't know back then. We found out later.
We found out later, Nancy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we found out at the time, but we never ever talked about it.
I
Ever.
don't think we found out at the time, honey.
Sure we did.
I mean, that sounds kind of normal though.
I didn't pay attention to.
Yeah, I'm just saying nobody ever talked about it with your dad or amongst your siblings until years and years later.
That's because there was a big fight to get George Martin to explain to Dad that he was adopted.
Well, I don't know because but
was
no, because he died. Your grandfather died before we were married, Jerry.
But he found out.
No, they didn't. Well, okay, might have been applying for his passport then.
Right. That's when he found out that he was adopted. And there was a big fight at the house between the two of them.
Okay, well, we weren't there, so we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Wait was a real tiny baby when they went to Italy. That's all.
Right.
So that would have been 1970.
No, they went in 1970.
71.
They
71.
they went in 1973
Right,
because we were already married.
right.
Yeah, but
We got married in December of 72. So they got married. So they went in the spring of 1973.
Oh, I thought they brought him a toy train and I thought he was a tiny baby when they gave it to him.
We were already married, Carrie, when they went.
But in any case, you're right, they didn't talk about it.
No,
Did-
never.
Did they bring
never.
the train from Italy or Germany?
They didn't go to Germany.
Yes, they did.
When did they go to Germany?
After they went to Italy.
Oh, I don't remember that.
They took 2 trips over to Europe. One was to Germany and one was to Italy.
Vaguely remember that now. Yeah.
And I think
Okay.
the train came from Germany.
Well, not if Nathan was a baby.
Yeah, maybe not. It came from, I remember them getting it for him.
Yeah, I think it was from Germany.
Interesting. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things we never talk about. So
Well,
I
it's
feel
good
like
we're here talking today.
I feel like this is kind of normal to not talk about stuff. As a reminder, Grandma's side of the family is more interesting. She's the one who's descended from one of the Salem witches. So if you want to talk about interesting, that side is very well documented. Very interesting stuff we've got.
Well,
there.
so how far are you into the Himmelfarbs? You're waiting for responses from people on that side?
Right. So waiting for responses. I mean, based on what we know so far, I've got the right cousin and sibling set. So the mom would be in that picture of the cousin club that my mom just shared. So the mom's in that picture. It's just narrowing down which one of the females. Now, I mean, I've been able to do a bit of guesswork because they would have to be the right age, right? So then that narrows it down some more. So there are a few possibilities. Again, my guess with Olivia is based on the fact that we know she was out working independently in a profession where she could have met John, and the fact that she never got married and gained that nickname later on in adulthood. But those are just guesses.
What was the nickname again?
So,
Pep.
and her relatives have told me that
Spell
they
it.
call it Pep, P-E-P. So they called her Pep as a joke because
She didn't have
moved
much pep.
slowly,
Okay.
which is
And
one
that
of
would go along with the CMT, right?
Mhm. So, and I mean, it's possible that she could have had it and not been the mom, but that does kind of fit within the theory of the possibility.
Is that a question that you ask when you contact somebody? Is if do you
Yeah,
have this in the
I
family?
do. So I have a whole basic script that I give people and to help, and that's helped, I think, get more people to respond because I explain I'm looking for medical information. We have this rare genetic disorder in the family. But the thing is, I mean, Dad didn't get diagnosed until what, 2010 or so. So it's possible that people had it and just didn't know. Like with Olivia, it could have been that she had it and just nobody ever thought to check into it, and she moved slowly and nobody thought, hey,
Well,
there's a medical reason.
Well, what about their granny, Gladys's mom? She was in a wheelchair forever.
Right, but
Accident.
but that was because of
From
the
what?
accident, right?
He had an accident. That's
What
what
kind
put
of
her in the
accident?
wheelchair.
Jerry, she
Fell off
had
the back porch.
she had rheumatoid arthritis.
Right.
She could hardly walk, and then she fell.
Right.
That put her in the chair.
Okay.
But do you remember her hands?
Right.
The fingers all being bent backwards and everything. She had arthritis, something ferocious.
Well, do we know that it was arthritis, or could it have been CMT at an early age? Which, of course, they wouldn't have diagnosed back then.
They have different key symptoms, CMT and
Oh, okay.
arthritis. Like it's entirely possible she had both, but like that hands thing is a little bit more typical with arthritis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was always, we were always told she had arthritis, and it was terrible. It really was terrible.
Okay.
But again, that's what people tell you. And when you're a kid, you don't question what people tell you. You just say, oh, okay.
Right.
But she did not walk well. In 1942, Uncle Wee in January was in the Marines. And he was at Great Lakes for his training. And mom and grandma went up there to see them graduate, when they did the marching. And at that point, mom told me that grandma could hardly stand. She was having a real hard time standing even at that point. And I was born in 48. I have no memory of my grandmother ever walking. I have a picture of her standing next to grandpa, but there's no memory of her ever walking. And somewhere when Uncle Wee was in the service, she had a bad fall and never walked again.
Okay.
And that is about the extent of my memory.
So yeah, so it's a possibility on that side. The thing that makes me think it more likely on the other side is given that grandma is 95 and isn't exhibiting any symptoms. Whereas grandpa with some of his other health challenges possibly could have had CMT and had those symptoms masked by everything else. So like with his bad knee and whatever. Now, I mean, it's possible that it could be, but again, I think given how healthy grandma is, I think she's healthier than I am. I think the more likely side would be on the dad's side, plus the fact my guess is with some of Savannah's health stuff, because we still don't know fully everything. CMT would only answer part of her symptoms. Having some of that come from the Jewish side is more likely, just with that opening up other possibilities for things the doctors weren't looking at. That's how I first got Dad to agree to start giving me saliva. Was like, doctors keep asking you about your family history. Give me some spit here, folks. So that's how we got started with this.
Okay.
But again, so some of this is still conjecture, but I wanted to give you where we're at. Again, with the dad and having talked to Sherry, I just actually talked with her some this afternoon. She's trying to find me pictures.
Rebecca, I've got the picture of Marianne.
Oh yeah, if you want to pull that one up.
Okay. This is his daughter. Oops, sorry.
John's daughter.
Yes.
That's right.
So this
And
would
be his sister then.
Oops.
His
yes,
sister,
his
right?
younger half sister.
And they call John Buck was his nickname, right?
Right, from what, but I'm not sure entirely why. So this, I think her Italian genes definitely are pretty dominant there. So unfortunately, I don't know how much of that is the Spriggs side versus the Italian side.
Those eyes look kind of like your dad.
Yeah, a bit.
Was that her high school picture?
Yeah, that was from her high school yearbook. Again, I'm shameless searching through public records.
You never did show us the one of the Spriggs of
yeah, I'm working on pulling that up. My computer was down this week with the storm, so bear with me here.
I guess that would be somewhat of a barrier.
Well, we've kind of been in unprecedented weather conditions.
Yeah, I can relate. I say like gesturing to like all this.
Oh yeah.
Are you having bad weather down there? It's beautiful
Me?
here.
Right now I'm fine. No, the problem is this is from when the fires were going. This photo.
Well, that looks lovely. I think I will stick with my ice storm versus the fire.
Yeah, I will say it's very unsettling when the sky turns a brilliant shade of orange in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And that was the point we left for San Francisco.
Made the best of that.
Mm.
It's snowing here.
What's that?
What?
What is
Jerry
snow?
wants to know what that is. Snow. He forgets.
Yeah, he had some before.
Well, I just had a week-long reminder that I'm happy to not have another reminder for a while.
Did you guys lose power?
Thankfully, actually, our apartment complex didn't. We had water issues, but we had to conserve the power as much as possible, so we didn't have a blackout. So.
Have you looked at your power bill yet?
No, I'm scared.
It'll probably be a voluntary blackout. You turn everything off.
You know, it made me a little bit more appreciative when Dad used to say he wasn't paying to heat up the neighborhood. But yeah, no, I mean, we while we were going through it, I mean, we spent as much time as we could with all of the stuff turned off, unplugged, lights off, heat down really low. One other thing, so I have actually met one of the relatives on the Jewish side, who's I believe more like a fourth cousin. She used to live in the Chicago area. She and her family live here now, about 5 miles away from me.
Oh my God.
Not only that, but her daughter and I, once we connected on Facebook, I realized have several mutual friends and have been to, I think most likely some of the same wedding and baby showers. So talk about weirdness. Dad got to meet them when we met up for pizza after my graduation last year. So they came out for that.
Did they have any information?
They had a little bit. They had a little bit. Since they're a little bit further out, they didn't have a ton, but they were able to give me some more information about the family in the general Chicago area, which helped with determining that there were relatives at the time that the mom could have been sent to. It just turned out the weird happenstance that she's living in the same town now. Dad, there was a place she talked about that her family owned. Yeah, the restaurant. What was the restaurant?
I'm trying to remember the name of it.
You knew what it was when she told you, though.
Yeah, I did too. Oh my gosh.
Was it like a sub place?
No, it's a burger place.
A burger place?
It was a small one.
In Chicago?
Yeah, they had one in Garfield, and then they had one on Dempster.
Rebecca, are you looking for the picture of Eleanor May?
Yes. Do you have it?
Yeah, I've got it.
Oh, can you share it?
Good. I can stop looking now. Okay. Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like I said, if you merge my face with Susanna's face, there you go.
Now, who is she?
My mother.
Oh.
That's your mother?
That is my mother. That was my mother, yes.
So that
yeah, there's no denying it.
Yeah.
So that would be
about age 17.
And your mother would have been
a first
John's what cousin?
Niece.
John's niece. Oh yeah,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah,
because
she would be a first cousin to George.
because her mother would have been John's sister.
Yes.
Okay.
But yeah, this is what we were talking about the family resemblance here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, this is where Susanna and I get our looks from.
Yup.
Uncanny, isn't it?
Especially if you find a picture with either one of us with curly hair. It's
Okay,
crazy.
oh wait, hang on a second. I can pull up a picture from my wedding.
Oh yeah.
Let's do a screen share with that one. Yeah.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Susanna especially.
Yes.
That is amazing.
I finally started to understand why people kept mixing us up in college. It's like, oh, you think it's the merged face. Got it.
There are literally people who did not realize we were separate people that we found out later, because there was one club that Susanna could go on one day and I could go on the other day. And we freaked a couple people out once they saw us standing together because they'd only seen one or the other of us. And then Susanna's biology lab partner in college, when the teacher, I guess, said you need to pick a lab partner, made a beeline for her because he knew me. And so
He thought I would guarantee him an A because he thought I was Rebecca.
he passed the class, right?
Yeah, it took him a couple weeks before he realized.
Well, I'm glad you didn't disappoint him and bomb his GPA. That would have been.
I mean, I got a B, but I'm pretty sure he got an A, so we're all good.
Funny, very funny.
Yeah.
So that's what we've got so far. Again, so the dad's narrowed down. The mom is still one of those people. Mom, can you pull up that picture again so we can pull all of our suspects? So the mom is one of the people in this picture. So we're gonna pull.
Oh, the picture of the Himmelfarbs?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't
Okay,
you
just a minute
have
here.
some synagogue records that indicated they probably knew each other?
No. So that's what
Okay.
I'm hoping after COVID, if it ever lets up, I'd like to do a Chicago trip to check to try to figure out where the connection is and how they got Klein in. So this is where it gets frustrating for me, because when we thought that Dr. Klein was the dad, it all made sense that he was signing off on the certificate to try to save himself. But why would so he was a resident at the time at Northwestern, why would he sign off on the birth certificate? Now, of course, there's the chance that he didn't know, but given the fact that Laura, well, her supposed age, even though we know she was actually older, that Laura's age put her in her 40s, and all of the possible moms were in their 20s. I mean, I just find it hard to believe that he wouldn't have known at least that something was up, if not having been more involved. But why? That's my big question. Is I haven't been able to figure out fully why he would risk his career if this got out to sign off on a falsified birth record. The other big question is the birthday. Why did the Karths tell him his birthday was February 2nd instead of January 21st?
Maybe that's the day they got him,
him,
or they baptized him or something.
Right, and that's what our best guess is that was a date of either like that, either baptism or getting in, and that's just what they celebrated. And I guess they never thought he would need his birth record. I mean, like I pulled Grandpa's Army records, and his Army records list him as having the February 2nd date. So the Army sent him to Europe for free with the wrong birthday. And they never had a problem with it. So, but that's as far as I've gotten. If anybody else gets anything or finds any information, please let me know. Again, I'm on every DNA site pretty much that there is. And I'm constantly.
Hey, Marianne, can you email me that picture?
Sure. Email it to everybody.
Yeah, do that. God, that woman in the middle really does look like him.
Yeah, she really does.
Not the one, not Olivia, but the one next.
Yeah, the one next to her, definitely. Yeah, if you look at that hairline, I mean, that's.
Yeah.
That nose and those cheekbones.
Yeah.
Rebecca, do you have Mark from Plano's picture?
You mean Mike?
Mike.
Yeah, I can pull him up. So Mike, let me pull him up here. Mike was one of the relatives that helped me triangulate with Mark. So Mike was actually adopted. So when I reached out to him, I was like, hey, this is great. You're the closest match I've had so far. Do you have any information? He said, no, I'm on here because I'm adopted. But thanks to Mark's help, Mike was actually able to find his biological dad before he died. So,
oh my God, really?
So who is Mike?
So Mike is the son. Here, let me pull her up. Let me do a screen share. So Mike is the grandson of Liz, who was John and Marie's sister, one of them anyway. So
who's this lady?
So she would be.
That's Marie.
No, that's Liza. I've got
Liza Spriggs.
Right,
She's Spriggs, right?
Yeah. So yeah, she's Marie's sister. I've got a picture of Marie too.
No, that's Marie.
Is it? Do I have it labeled wrong? Okay. So that would be an aunt right there. Hang on.
So she, John's sister.
She's the one that we originally thought was the mother.
Right. Well, so that's Liza. I originally thought that Marie. Here, let me put Marie's picture. Hang on a second.
Marie.
No,
Spriggs.
that is Liza Marie.
Spriggs, John's sister.
Okay, wait. Okay,
now
that's Aunt May.
That's your aunt.
So did I have them switched with Liza? And okay, so I had them switched. But anyway, if you look at this face and compare to Isaac with the hairline and the chin.
Yeah.
So that's where Isaac's face comes from. Let me get you Mike. Hang on a second. So Mike and I have been trying to plan dinner for a while.
Carrie, where do you come from?
See, we heard that.
Well, I'm pretty sure we were meant to hear that.
He always said
you
he was
you do not look like your brothers or so
Yeah, so.
you don't look like your dad either.
All right, here's
So
Mike.
where do you come from?
Here's Mike. So maybe once COVID is over, we'll actually be able to have dinner. So he's another Texas transplant from the Midwest.
He looks like Mitch McConnell. I don't like him.
Rebecca,
Yes.
He doesn't have enough chins to be Mitch McConnell.
that picture could be a picture of one of my first cousins when he was younger,
Well,
before
okay.
he gained weight. And by the way, he lives in Texas.
Oh, there you go.
So this is the guy that's adopted.
The guy that what?
Yeah, this was the
He's
guy who was
adopted.
adopted. Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Help me find his actual father.
Yes. Yes. So thanks to Mark's help, we were able to get that sorted.
He would
Isn't that
be
amazing?
he would be Dale. I know this is going to sound strange, but he would be Dale Evans' son.
Right.
Okay, Rebecca.
Yes.
Kid, if your dad would let me see a close up of him, I just thought of something.
Dad, can you
Jer,
pull
move
your face
your
closer to the
screen,
camera?
Jer.
There you go.
What do you need?
Your face. Show us your face.
Yeah, your
You
face,
see me or not?
sir.
Yeah, trying to get your fully into frame, like your chin's cut off.
My chin is cut off. Okay, just a second.
Wait.
Yeah.
Lower the camera.
There
Tell
you
me.
go.
There you go.
That good?
Yes. Would you,
Well,
sir?
good,
Would you
maybe
take off
stretch
your
it.
glasses, please?
And shave your beard, Jerry.
Yeah, we
That's
we
what I
can
was gonna say. It's hard to tell.
we could find the photos of him with his beard off.
No. I want it with the beard would be helpful
Oh, okay.
Oh,
because I'm looking at a picture here to let's see if we can get it back up. Okay. I'm not getting a picture of him, so can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
And let me actually pull up a picture of Bill Zapp, because you're the one that thought that Uncle John looked like him. So let me pull him up.
Okay. I need this. I never did send you a picture, I don't think, of John Thomas Spriggs,
Oh, do you have one?
who was no wait, the one that was in the Civil War,
Oh, the older one. Okay.
the older one. Yes. But he's looking a lot like the picture's looking a lot like your dad.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, and then somebody else. Maybe I'm not sure if I saw somebody else back there look like him too, but he yeah, I'll send it to you and with a couple of other pictures.
Get closer, let him see you.
Okay, who am I looking at now?
We don't know.
Can you change the view to gallery instead of whoever's speaking?
I mean, on the iPhone, it might be a little small.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay.
On the dad talk.
You're looking at
It's
Carrie?
interesting. It's very interesting. They know who his father was. I'm telling Abby about
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Huh?
You can mute yourself.
Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
Who
Okay.
is the white-haired gentleman?
Me?
That'd be Ken.
This is a
Let me-
cousin.
Okay.
Blonde.
Okay.
It's gray.
Great. Okay. All right. Interesting. I'm going to have to send you this picture of John Thomas Spriggs and
All right.
Augusta Leanne Ross, and I don't think I've sent that to you.
No, that'd be great. Thank you.
Can you have you got it right now, or you just?
I do. I'm not sure. It's a little dark.
Yeah, and here I just shared a picture of Bill Zapp, who's another cousin from the Spriggs side. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Does he look like anybody?
Well, he's a Cubs fan, so.
He fits right in.
That's because of his boy playing. I think that's Little Bill with him.
At Little League. But yeah, no. When I showed Mark some pictures, he thought that Dad's twin John looked a lot like Bill.
Yes.
You think this guy looks like John?
I can find some younger pictures of him because it looked closer.
Yeah, younger would help that comparison.
Hang on, let me see if I can find some pictures from his neighbor years. Got your ball? Got a ball?
He's probably got about 3 or 4 inches.
Here's a young Jerry.
Aw.
Oh, a Cabbage Patch doll.
Now the one on the left.
You want a picture of Jerry without a beard?
Oh, there's a
He's
frightening
getting his
shot.
my foot in his ass.
Hey.
Yeah, my first wife.
Yeah.
Rebecca, you had another picture of a Sprague.
Some, yeah. Who are you thinking of here?
One of the first ones you had, I thought it was Mark in Plano.
That's Mike.
Mike.
And I
Mike
showed that.
Plano.
Yeah, and I showed that picture. He's the one.
No, you had a different picture of somebody way back when you showed it to me. Because I said, my gosh, the resemblance to my father was uncanny.
Oh.
Hang on a second here. Let me see if I can find what you're thinking of.
No, I haven't actually seen that photo of my parents before. I don't think.
Where
That
were you
was with
hiding
my first
that?
wife.
Presume it was before the wedding because he had the
No,
beard
that
with
was in Ann Arbor at the down
it.
box.
Oh.
That's
Later
weird.
on, he for some reason shaved off the beard. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on a second. I think I actually have the first John Thomas here. You did send it to me. Let me pull it up.
Okay.
Kind of small, but let me see if I can. There you go.
Yes.
So this would be who our John Thomas was named for here.
So is what is it his John Thomas's grandpa? Because you said
I
his dad
think
was
so. Without looking, I think so.
because you said, Rebecca, you said
is
John's
Civil
dad
War.
name was James, right?
Right, yes. So there you go.
So, Mark, do you know why Buck was called Buck?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm trying to place him, and I'm also trying to find a picture I can't seem to find, but I know it's here somewhere. Of the Spriggs that was living in, oh, what's the name of that little town? Oh well, I'll find it tomorrow or later tonight. One.
Okay.
So do you think the Himmelfarms look like anybody else in the family?
Trying to find a connection for Carrie?
Yeah. Yeah. What did you say?
Trying to find Carrie's ancestry here.
Ah, okay.
So, well, you could zoom out a little bit and look at some of the other people in the picture.
I mean, it's like the picture's small enough. It's a
like
little
that
throwing
highlight
darts. But...
magazine where you're trying to find people in the tree. See the pony up there?
Just pick one you like, Carrie.
One of the clowns here, one of the yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think you've done an unbelievably great job of.
Yeah.
See this guy right here?
Which one?
This one right here, that kind of looks like your dad.
Which one?
Keep going to the last row.
The last row? Oh, like
Two,
right here?
That one right there.
Right
Look
there?
at
Oh,
that.
sorry.
Yeah, I can see it.
I mean, it's hard to say.
This guy right here.
This one?
Are you talking about this one?
Yes.
The shape of his head. Kind of.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
You
Do
had
you
a
see-
picture of somebody, Rebecca. I'm trying to remember.
A male or female are you talking about?
Male.
So I showed you Mike's picture a few minutes ago, but you weren't thinking it was Mike. Oh, you're talking about Mark.
Yes.
The Mark is on the phone call here.
No. What do you?
Yes, Mike is the one in Plano. Mark's in Tennessee. He's the one talking right now.
Right. You had a picture of Mark when he was younger.
Hang on.
So do you see Karen in any of these?
My sister Karen?
Yeah, your sister Karen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, she looks like the one we think that looks like Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one next to Olivia.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Probably a better dresser, but yeah.
Oh. Hang on. So, Dad, I think you're talking about Mark. You mean this picture right here, Dad?
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
It goes way back. We'll have to dig for it probably.
Yeah, I probably won't find it on this call. I
You have
suspect.
one of Mark up again.
Okay, hang on a second.
I thought he was in Plano, you told me.
Mike is the one in Plano.
Okay.
So he's the one that we were gonna have dinner and COVID has happened and
Right.
he lives
Right.
just over and I have not. So
When
here
you
I can,
first made connections with him, he had a picture.
right. So here
Wasn't
I'll
it-
pull up Mark again and then we can look at Mike again. Okay. So here's Mark.
Handsome man.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
he's got your hairline, Carrie.
So hang
Let's
on.
go. Carrie, turn the iPad so they can see you. See?
Yes,
I can
I
see
thought
you,
that
by
right
the way.
away. The two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for I think they have different chins.
Nance,
Yeah.
we're trying not to offend the man, so don't tell him. You gotta stay nice to be a good part of the family. I'm sorry about her. We do the best we can, but obviously she's off her medication.
I could cut you off, you know.
Something new.
I mean, I could just hang up and you can't hear anything.
I'm afraid pictures of me will not be of much help. I've been told that I look like my paternal great grandmother's side.
Well, you're still at a loss, Carrie.
You're the only one worried about it.
I'm not worried.
People say they were related to me. I'm good.
Your kids don't count.
My grandson does. He's Kyle Allen Adams the fourth.
Yeah, he gave us the whole family history right there. Okay, here we go, Dad. So you were wanting Mike. Here's Mike in Plano.
No, you had another picture.
We'll try and locate it later.
I'll keep looking then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was so uncanny that it looked like dad. Remember I told you that?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
When we first started this, it was
Put up
like,
the
wow.
Himmelfarb.
Yeah,
Rebecca, can you put up the Himmelfarb picture again?
Mom, you got the
Yeah,
Himmelfarb
yeah, I'll
there?
do that. This amount here. Oops. Oh, no, I didn't do it. Oh, I did. Did I put it up?
No, I don't see it.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Our pets
Dan,
are really
he's looking at the
enjoying this.
ceiling.
Now the one on Ken's lap, is that part of the family?
So
Yes.
they think this might be Grandpa's mother, but we all think he looks like her and Aunt Karen.
Yep.
And Rebecca, why did we think it age-wise is why we didn't think it was her?
Age and being single, age and marital status at the time. Yeah, so she's a possibility, the one on the right, but the one in the middle is the stronger possibility. So again, that's where we know the mom is in this picture. She's one of the ladies sitting here. We just don't know for sure which one. So take your pick, whichever one you like best.
Kathy, the one next to her looks like Aunt Kathy.
Oh, it does.
Oh yeah, actually.
What's that?
Yeah, Aunt Kathy
That
right
looks
there.
like Aunt Kathy,
Yeah.
the brunette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Either you that one.
Oh, she looks like that?
Yeah.
This looks like that?
This one?
Because we're trying to find. We're trying to find somebody for that.
Her dad fits in, yeah.
Obviously, my daughter's not for her.
Rebecca, I'm going to need to bow out. My battery's about to die on my phone.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming in, Mark. Though this is
Yeah,
helpful.
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'll do some more digging on some pictures and get them to you.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
have to
you.
have
Thanks a
another
lot.
party sometime.
Yeah. One last question. You're John Thomas that you're dealing with. His children, who are they?
He had one daughter, Mary Ann Catherine, and she had two children, Sherry and Kathy. Kathy unfortunately died a few years ago, so her only living daughter is Sherry. And
Who did Mary Ann marry? Do you know?
She married a man by the name of, hang on, let me pull that up. I can pull it up for you.
Drescher.
Sherry married a dresser, so hang on, let me see who Mary Ann married. Just a second. Yeah, from talking with Sherry, it sounds like she doesn't have a lot of contact with the family. Okay, so Mary Ann married Alvin Richard Sweeney.
Okay, I'm not making that connection. Email me those
Okay.
names, and
I'll do that.
I'll check with Billy
Okay.
since he's still in Cumberland.
Okay, yeah, and he's been helpful too. But yeah, I'll send you those. But talking to her daughter Sherry, again, it sounds like Sherry hasn't
Now, they
had much
pulled up a
family
relative.
contact in a while. So that would kind of make sense.
Okay, well, Billy might be able to. Enjoy this. Y'all have a good night.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Go find your children. Go get them. Go on. Go get them. Get a toy. Go get a toy.
Hey, the picture that you girls pulled up that Suzanne and Rebecca look like. Now, who was she again?
That was Mark's mom.
The guy that just left.
Shut
Yeah.
off. That was his mom.
Yeah, and that would
So
be,
that's
yes.
so that's on the dad's side.
And so
Okay.
that would be a first cousin to George.
Crazy.
Really look
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, actually, Susanna, do you want to pull up the picture again so Abby can see?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
So yeah,
Did
we're
you
gonna.
record this, Rebecca?
What's that?
Did you record this?
Oh yeah, I'm recording.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, no, this is how I'm teaching my college classes this year. So that's why I thought about doing this. And it's going about just as well. Although I will say that Kyle the fourth has better introductions than most of my college freshmen.
That boy, he's our extrovert. I'll say that.
Okay, have you got the picture, Susanna?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So this
one.
Wow. Yeah. So you do a face merge of me and Susanna. So Suzanne, do you want to pull up then the wedding picture of you and me?
You had that one.
Oh, okay. Hang on a second.
Girl, stop. Well, hang on. I can probably find it. It'll just take me a minute.
Does that not look like him? Now that's Mark's mother, and Mark is a cousin, a second cousin on the dad's side.
Do you have the wedding picture, Rebecca?
Hang on a second.
That's right. Abby had to leave.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so but yes, if you merge our faces, there you go. So that's what I've got. Again, unfortunately, I wish I knew for sure who the mom is, but at least we know she's in that cousin picture. She's one of them. And so I'll let you all know if I can narrow down some more information.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot,
This was
Rebecca, for what you're
fascinating.
doing. That's a lot of work.
Well, it's been a fun hobby, especially with COVID kind of cutting everything else off.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not going out.
Now, although I did a lot of the initial work, this was how I was procrastinating for my dissertation. So this was a fun diversion. But that's what we've got. So we know definitely one of Grandpa's parents was Jewish. We know his parents were both from the Maryland, DC area.
Bring up the tree again.
Okay, hang on.
And then is it Mary Ann has that picture you're gonna send out?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. What did you want to see on the tree, Dad?
You send out the one of Mark's mother too?
Yeah, that one too.
Yeah, well,
Thank
so
you.
I'll compile along with the video recording. I can
Okay.
compile some pictures. Okay, so what did you want to see on this tree, Dad?
Right.
Okay.
Well, so people can put it in perspective.
Okay, well, let's start with George here, young George.
I got it. I got it.
There we go. So this is from his
always
school
on it.
yearbook.
That's
can
from
send-
Elmhurst, right?
Right, yeah. So from what I gather, he was there for maybe a semester or two, but he didn't actually graduate.
Is this George?
Yep, from when he
Yes.
was at Elmhurst Junior College briefly. So not sure what he was studying or doing, but that's from his yearbook picture. But I thought that for comparison with that hairline, but we'll go back.
We should do some collages of putting the pictures next to each other.
Well, if you would like to do that, I heard a volunteer. So yeah, so in perspective right now, my best guess with the mom is possibly Olivia, if not her, one of her sisters or female cousins. John Thomas, not the original John Thomas, but the younger one from 1901 would be the dad from what we've been able to determine. Mary Ann was his daughter, so 5 years younger, half sister to Grandpa. And then her daughter Sherry, who's still living, is the one who pops up with the right DNA to be a half first cousin to Dad. Unfortunately, because so she messaged me earlier today that most of her family photos were lost in a family flood of their basement sometime back, but she said she's going to look to see if she can find any of her grandparents.
Amazing.
Yeah, so but she was really helpful, so that was nice. And then
Release.
and then
You're gonna have to do this again in a month or so and do Grandma's side.
yes, so that's the side that's more interesting. We have the Mayflower, we have the Salem witches, we have the Ingalls family of Little House on the Prairie. Everything interesting is on Grandma's side. Also the Mafia, thanks to Caleb helping me find Great Uncle Elmer's record there. So we have
That's a
that
teaser there for
too.
you.
But yeah, Grandma's side is more interesting and it's well documented. Unfortunately, part of why it's so well documented is there was at least one first cousin marriage in there, so the tree kind of branched over into more of a bush. But yeah, her side's well documented, so there's not really a need for as much digging because it's nice documented lines all the way back. But yes, she is descended from Martha Ingalls Allen Carrier, who was dubbed Queen of Hell during the Salem witch trials. So she's one of the most interesting characters from that period because she refused to implicate anyone else because you could get out of being executed if you would name other people. So she not only refused, but she basically said that the proceedings were stupid and she wasn't going to participate. She also was already disliked in the area because she would do business without her husband present. So she was known for that, and she was thought of suspiciously because most of her family survived, I believe it was smallpox or another illness. And so there was already suspicion that she was a witch, that most of her children survived that. So good stuff.
I gotta find the book on
Yes.
Goodreads. There's a book about her daughter, I believe.
Yes, there are a couple of books with them that featured. So yeah, Grandma's got the more interesting stuff. Suzanne, do you want to talk a little bit about Laura Irwin?
So you found things like birth certificate, marriage certificate. Our best guess is.
So this is Grandpa's adoptive mother, Laura, who was apparently very prim and proper. So this is where it gets fun.
Apparently, our best guess is that Laura was married off as a teenager and then ran away. And then based on the census records where the husband is listed as a widower, our best guess is that he just told everyone she died.
Either that or she faked her death.
Or that, because she seems like the kind of person who could totally get away with faking her death. So then we looked into, and Dad mentioned, like towards the end of her life, Laura Della said that she worked on vaudeville and that her stage name was Della Rose. The records are hard to find, but I did find a Della Rose who sang soprano, mentioned in 2 newspaper articles, who performed in, I forget which year, Ohio summer of...
It would have been before 1923.
Yeah, it was before 1923. I'm trying to find the exact year. I think it was 1917.
Which would be about right. So what we were able to find out, so I guess it would have been in the 1920 census, that her first husband, Mr. Grimes, was listed as a widower. In 1923, after his death, she marries George Martin Karth. So interesting stuff going on there.
I did find 2 newspaper articles. If this is the right Della Rose, she did perform with a traveling music company. The trouble I'm having is that one of the newspaper reviews calls it the Grau Musical Comedy Company, and the other one calls it the Grau Company. So I'm stuck on trying to find which Grau company this might have been to try to track like where they toured. Unfortunately, there was a Grau who worked for the Metropolitan Opera in like 1904, and it's probably not him, but you know, if you look at Grau in music, it's all about that guy. But yes, we think she might have actually been telling the truth, that she might have actually done the vaudeville circuit.
Interesting.
So Suzanne and I are going to keep trying to track that down. I hadn't made that as big of a priority because, again, I've been trying to track down the biological family to help with the DNA stuff. But I feel like there's some juicy possibilities from that line there.
Someday, very far in the future, most of the physical vaudeville records that survived are, I believe, the University of Arizona Library. And they have boxes of stuff that is just unidentified photos of people. So, you know, someday, eventually, when there's not a pandemic.
And we can get on a plane and go do research trips.
Going down to Arizona and looking through that library might get us something.
I'd also like to make a trip to Chicago to check out the possibility of checking out the synagogues as well as the cemeteries and trying to connect with the possible Jewish relatives that the mom was sent to try to figure out which family she was sent to. But we do know at least that there was a contingent of the family that was in Chicago that she'd been sent to.
if he was born at Michael Reese,
yes, he was.
then I would concentrate on synagogues on the south side, on the South Shore
Okay.
area.
That
That was
would
a
help.
heavily Jewish area back then.
So Nancy, do you have any ideas about how to maybe, what kind of questions to ask those synagogues in terms of trying to find out, you know, if maybe there was somebody at that time that knew the Himmelfarb family?
Well, it's a very common name.
Okay.
Okay. And if they came from Eastern Europe with Ukraine or Russia, right?
Yeah.
Let me think on this. You know, I don't know that synagogues, I don't know if synagogues kept records like that. I don't know, but you know, a lot of the synagogues, they've merged and moved and stuff, so you wouldn't necessarily find them on the south side. But with Michael Reese being the hospital, I would guess it's somewhere on the south side that he was probably born.
Because when
it would make sense that they would move him to the north side.
Away. Yeah. Okay.
When we thought that the Dr. Klein that signed the birth certificate, when we thought maybe he was the dad, we were looking at things from Seattle where he was from, and they kept, like, that synagogue kept had like a newsletter of, you know, telling about different things that the different families had done and things like that. So I didn't know if
that wasn't actually that wasn't the synagogue. That was the
association.
Yeah, it was the Jewish Telegraph, which was essentially like a society paper.
Okay, so there is the same thing in the city. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Let me think about it. That might have, you know, done stuff like that.
Right.
I would look at see if you can find in the 1920s name of synagogues that were located in the South Shore, south side of Chicago.
Okay. So we'll see. And I figure if nothing else, the cemeteries could help make some connections. And Dad, have you thought of the name of that burger place that Adrian talked about? I can pull up, maybe I can pull up that picture of you and Adrian now.
Was it a picture of Adrian?
Yeah, I can pull up the picture of him.
It was a hamburger place on Dempster Street.
Yep.
In Skokie?
Nope.
Well, didn't they have more than one location?
Then it had to be Evanston?
In Evanston, they had a restaurant on Dempster. And I'm thinking it's Dempster and Sherman. Oh, there she is.
Now, who is she?
So she's about a fourth cousin or so. So she's the relative from the Jewish side who actually lives only a couple miles from me. So she and her daughter, she and her daughter came out to my celebration after my graduation. Yes, we all met up for pizza after the ceremony.
And how might her family be related?
So they're related to the Himmelfarbs, just further out. But the funny thing was she's originally from the same area you all are in Chicagoland, but she found herself only a couple miles away from me. And like I said, her daughter and I are about the same age and have several mutual friends, and again have, I think, likely crossed paths before we actually met at different baby and wedding showers.
Did you ever have a photo of the daughter?
Yeah, I can pull up Catherine's picture. Hang on.
I was just wondering if she's is or is not our supposed doppelganger on campus.
Oh yeah, that everybody thought we looked like her.
Last semester,
no, because she went to Tech. She went to Texas Tech, so it's not.
Okay, never mind. Our last semester, there was someone who transferred in who apparently looked exactly like us, and everyone kept trying to everyone thought they had told us something, but no, they were talking to this random stranger. I have no idea who this person was, but
no, I have not.
From another universe.
I have not found her yet. No, so this is Catherine, but Catherine went to Texas Tech.
Okay, yeah, no, definitely not her.
No. So, but yes, no. But no, there's, yes.
Rebecca, did you have some names that you thought might be possible families that the mom went to stay with in Chicago? At one time you had some.
Yeah, but you got to remember with the names coming over, there's the variations are annoying because you might have different spellings within the same person, let alone the same family. And you have to remember, like, Himmelfarb is so common. It's Yiddish for color of the sky, because the people didn't always necessarily, the last names for the Jewish community in that part of Eastern Europe came a lot later than some of the other populations. So there's a lot of occupation and color names and things like that. So you might have multiple Himmelfarbs, but they were called that because maybe they had like a blue door on their house or something along those lines. So they're not necessarily all related, if that makes sense. And even so, and then even with some of the families that you've got, like, again, you might have one spelling at one point in their life and another spelling at another time, and their sibling might do completely different variations. But yeah, Himmelfarb, Sadowski, especially going through the 23andMe, we've got a lot of the very common Jewish last names in there: Cohen, Levy, different variations with Gold, Goldberg, Goldstein, so on. It's Miller. We've got basically all the stereotypical names, which is fine, but also annoying in terms of trying to narrow down people. So actually I can kind of pull that up on DNA relatives here.
Can you look up Mike Beck?
Again?
Is that the same one you keep showing me?
Yes, Mike Beck is the one in Plano that I still haven't had a chance to meet for dinner yet.
Okay. I'm just going through my emails trying to find out which one it was. I thought it was him, that you had a young picture of him.
No, I don't have a lot of young pictures of him. There was the picture of Bill, Mark's cousin Bill, from when he was in the Navy. But yes, I can definitely do another round of this on Grandma's family, because that's less speculation and more just fun.
It's wild.
History. Yes. Now, fun stuff. Let me see if I've got that still up here. So we know that the John Thomas, the dad, when he was a firefighter in DC for a while, he lived on this street. Well, I did my internship when I was in DC over at this building right here. So I walked past the street that he lived on all the time, every day. So I know exactly where it is.
Only at the time you didn't know that.
No, I didn't, which is annoying, especially since I know now that there are several relatives that I've talked to who live in that area. But yeah, so he lived right here, right by Meridian Hill Park.
Mm-hmm.
So I know exactly where that is. But that's what I've got. So I guess I'll work with Mom to pull together an email with different photos as well as the recording from today, and maybe some snapshots of the family tree, and maybe a synopsis of kind of what we covered. But basically, we found the dad. It's not the person I first thought it was. We just had the wrong sibling. And then the mom is one of the ladies in that picture.
Well done. Well done. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. This has been a ride. So, but yeah, I can pull it together. We'll do something on Grandma's side next, and we'll dig into the mafia.
Thanks a lot, Rebecca.
Yes,
you're welcome.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Rebecca.
You're welcome.
Congratulations, Peter.
Thank you.